On this second video, I'm going to show the areas where the furnaces were located and also some mining areas with other information. This is a map of the Middle Tennessee area, especially the Stewart County area, created by the military that were stationed at Fort Donelson in 1865. As you can see, this is the Clark furnace here, and the Leatherwood Creek, which is before the lake was put in, so you can see it was just a creek at that time. And then the Clark furnace, then the LaGrange furnace, and if you travel over to Hurricane Creek, and you'll see Eclipse furnace here. That, to me, doesn't look like Eclipse. It could have been, it looked kind of like Fielder furnace. As with the LaGrange, at this time was called, by the men that made the map, was called the Phillips furnace. But I know in 1857 that they did a survey of the furnaces in the area, and they called this, in 1857, they called it the LaGrange furnace. So Phillips was the owner of it. Phillips and Company was the owner at this time, and he was probably the supervisor, superintendent, and maybe lived here at the furnace, but they called it the Phillips furnace. Same thing could have been with the Eclipse. They may have called it the Fielder, and I can't make it out. I've tried looking at other maps, the same map in a better, clearer, but I just can't make it out. So anyway, that's the three furnaces that I'm mostly referring to. This is a map also from the same article I was telling you about, the brown iron ores of West Middle Tennessee. And this is the Stribling area. This is the LaGrange furnace here. This is the Clark furnace here. These are some of the mines associated with the Clark furnace, and if you're in the area, you've ever done any raccoon hunting, anything in the area, you'll know that there's many of these deep holes throughout the area where they mined the iron ore, or they were looking for the iron ore, which is pretty dangerous when you're there of a night trying to feel yourself around. But most of the iron ore from this area went for the Clark furnace. Then you have the ore pit, which what we called it when I was growing up, or some of them called it Jess Lane Pond, which my grandfather lived on the edge of it, worked for the LaGrange plantation. He was a teamster that carried freight from Stribling to Danville, or McKinnon, and Danville also, I guess, daily and sometimes twice a day. And this is a large pit here, and it was mined for many years. My grandfather said that, which he was born in 1874, and he said that one time they took 2 6-inch pumps, pumping 24 hours a day to keep this pit devoid of water so that they could work during that time. Now it's completely filled with water, and the lake will back up into it at times. You have many other mines which in this area, which is around the, well, actually they're all through the area, but they're showing more of them in this area here, which is down around the Brownsfield, Leatherwood Resort area. And this is kind of interesting. This was an old tunnel mine that I never knew of until I read about it later. My dad never mentioned it to me, but it was a underground mine that one of the companies tried, and I'm not sure when they tried it, but I've got a feeling it could have been around 1880 because they really tried to do, the company that had the LaGrange furnace, the Clark furnace, and the Eclipse furnace at that time tried a little of everything to make a go of it. They put a railroad in from Danville to the LaGrange furnace. They tried just a little of everything to try to keep to make some money at it, which if you study it, you'll see that many times all of these furnaces went bankrupt and would be resold. I was wanting to show a picture here of the underground mine that my nephew and I found. This is David Warren at the mouth of the underground mine. It is between the fire station at Leatherwood and the ore pit, Lost Lake, just Lane Pond, or whatever you want to call it. It's between there, and it now is, we could put a pole down through it, into it, but there's water filled now, so it's hard to tell exactly how much is open. I'm going to try to read you a description of what the explorers found in 1927.